Namaste, my friends. Welcome or welcome back. And welcome to this prenatal yoga class or yoga lesson, whatever you want to call it. I hope that you prepared your yoga mat already, and I would like you to prepare the pillow or the blanket, something especially for the shavasana and for some inverted positions, and just in case for your knees, if they're very sensitive. So please take any comfortable position, and I would like to remind you that this class will be perfect for all of the trimesters, so don't worry, first, second, third, if you're very close to the delivery date, it will be perfectly fine. Simply listen to your body. If something seems too intense, simply slow down, go in the child pose, relax, just breathe, or simply even lay down on your left side. So put your hands on the thighs, take a comfortable seated position with your legs crossed. You can put the blanket or the bolster or pillow, anything under your hips already. Be sure that your knees are lower than your hips. This is the must thing, so we don't have any tension in our belly. If you have very nice hip opening, maybe you can avoid using anything, but just in case, the blanket will do the trick. As you can see, my knees are already a bit lower. So we close our eyes and we start by making a couple breaths through the nose. And try to simply tune towards the body. And depending how you feel, I would like to propose to you to breathe a bit differently during this practice. So we do the inhale through the nose. And we make the exhale through the mouth. And try to relax your jaw as much as you can. Be sure that you're breathing also with your diaphragm, with your belly. So with the inhale, we outstretch our belly. Feel it down with the air so the belly goes forward. And with the exhale, we simply relax it. And normally the belly goes a bit back. Or with your mouth constantly closed, or exhale through the mouth, the way you prefer. With the next inhale, we raise our arms, unite the palms, and bring our hands in Namaste in front of the chest. And in order to tune towards the practice, to change the vibrations, let's chant mantra Om 3 times mentally or out loud. This is completely optional, so feel free to do or not to do. Inhale. Now place your hands on the thighs. Once again, we start by warming up our neck. Bring head forward with exhale, back with inhale. And repeat a couple times. Also here, don't forget, even if your mouth is closed during the whole practice, it's important to relax the jaw, because the jaw is connected to our hips, to our pelvis. And the most important thing that we can do in order to prepare for the delivery is to try to relax our hips. So continue doing back and forth, come back to the center. Now incline the head on one side and then on another. Statistically, majority of the women, they don't have problems, or we don't have problems in contracting, activating our muscles, especially if you do yoga or any type other of sport activity. But instead, in relaxing, this is the tricky part. Come back to the center. Now we do the twist, looking to the right and to the left. So this practice will be mainly focused on activating the muscles and relaxing them at the same time. We will strengthen and elongate all of the necessary muscles without exaggeration. So don't worry, even if you're not very well physically fit and prepared, you will perfectly do it. So now bring your head down, 3 circles in one direction and in another. First inhale, head goes back, and with the exhale, bring it forward. And 2 more times. And when you have finished, do the 3 circles in the opposite direction very slowly or a bit faster, the way you feel like. Don't forget to breathe. Come back to the center. Interlock your fingers, palms up, and stretch nicely all the way up, and then small movements to the right and to the left, simply elongating one side and then another. This small exercise will help you to decrease the nausea, just in case you have it, or any fatigue. Simply elongating both sides or one at a time. With the inhale, we stretch. With the exhale, right hand goes down, cover yourself with the left one, and we go as high as we can. So don't go low, don't contract your right side of the body. So we want to elongate both of the sides. And if you can look up, if you feel nausea or something, you can look down. If you don't feel very well or have a vertigo, simply always look down during the practice. With the inhale, we stretch once again up, and with the exhale, left hand down, cover yourself with the right one. Couple breaths. Elongating both sides. With the next inhale, come back to the center, stretch, and with the exhale, we do the twist. So the right hand goes behind the back, the left one is on the thigh. With a straight back, simply look behind your right shoulder all the way back. And breathe with the belly. Try to always bring it forward, and then relax it. With the diaphragm, we try to implement the diaphragmatic breathing or belly breathing. With the next inhale, stretch all the way up, and with the exhale, twist on another side. Always I remind you, the back is completely straight. If it's too much, you can remain half turn, just like this. If it's fine for you, go a bit lower or go a bit back. And with the next inhale, come back to the center, both hands on the thighs. With the exhale, we round our back. Don't try to round your back too much at the middle part, so not to contract the belly. So mainly the shoulders go forward, and try to elongate the distance between your scapula. I will show to you. So we don't do like this. We instead shoulders forward, and then shoulders back. Over here also, go as deep as you feel like. What I mean, when you go forward, and you can continue this exercise, when you go forward, try to feel not too much stretch in your frontal part of the body. And especially with your feet, if you're sitting without any support, be careful not to push with your feet against the belly. Shoulders always back and look up. Stretching the neck. With the exhale, back, and a couple more times. Inhale. Exhale. One more time, inhale. From here we do 3 circles in one direction. You can do small or big. Try to always make these circles, make these movements in your hips and your pelvis, not in your back. So try to keep your back straight, or maybe also to arc it just a bit when you're forward going. Perfect. 3 in the opposite. And continue breathing. The breath shouldn't change during the whole practice, no matter what you do. From here, we bring ourselves on one of the sides. Be very careful always with the belly, especially if it's big. Put the palms under the shoulders, knees under the hips. And also here, if you need the blanket, if you're training on the mat, for example, on the carpet, which is very tiny and the flooring is quite hard, so put the blanket down the knees, and we proceed with some cat pose with the inhale, arcing the back, but just slightly. Also here, when you arc your back, don't feel too much stretch in the frontal part of your body, especially the belly. Just a bit. Look up. Mainly push away with your hands, and with the exhale here, you can nicely round the back. You don't need to worry about anything. So inhale, looking up, shoulders, try to bring them back as much as you can. With the exhale, round your back. Next inhale. With the exhale, come back to the center. From here, we start by moving our joints. So we raise our knee and do couple rounds in one direction. Couple circles. And in the opposite. Now, raise your knee, and we hold for 3 breaths. If it's very easy, you can outstretch your leg. If it's too hard, you can lower your knee just a bit. When 3 breaths are finished, we put our foot down on the ground and raise. So Padikasana, I do the mirror. So your left foot is to the left and toes are looking straight. Put your left hand on the thigh. With the inhale, we stretch all the way up. And with the exhale, with the same stretching of both of the sides, we slightly slide down. You can look down or up, the way you prefer. With the next inhale, come back to the center. Put your palms down on the ground. Now, the left knee goes to the right. Here, be very careful. Don't bring your knees very close one to another. So one is a bit back. Here, don't push towards the belly too much. And we gently bring our hips to the right. If you want, you can go a bit back, but mainly to the right. You need to feel the stretch of the right glute. Perfect. Come back to the center. Okay, from here, we do the same on another side. Raise your right knee, and we start moving couple circles in one direction. And in the opposite. Perfect. Raise your knee. Hold for 3 breaths. If it's very easy, outstretch the leg. If it's not, bend it in the knee. 2 more breaths. Continue breathing. Evenly, deeply, palms under the shoulders. Looking down between your hands. And then bring your foot all the way down. Raise yourself up. Padikasana, right hand on the thigh. Be sure that you tuck your toes under for more stability with the inhale. Left hand goes up, and with the exhale, we stretch to the right. So first we did with the left leg, then with the right. If you change the legs, be sure that you also work on another side. Stretching both of the sides nicely. With the next inhale, come back. Put both hands down. Now we bring our right knee to the back, and in the same way, gently move yourself a bit back and to the left without putting too much pressure on the belly. If still the belly is too big, you can go a bit forward and doing this same. If you're still in the first trimester and the belly is almost not seen, you can even do put your knees a bit closer one to another. For me, the most important that you feel the stretch right now in the left glute. And then come back to the center. Cat pose once again. From here, push away with your hands. We will do couple exercises to understand a bit more how to do different positions, but also to train our shoulders and our back, which is so crucial, especially in the future. So I want you to bring your chest down with exhale, with inhale, and with the exhale, push away with the hands, push away with your palms, and elongate the distance between your scapula, trying to round your back. With inhale, bring your chest down, exhale, push away with the hands. Couple more times. You can continue breathing as a reminder with your mouth open or closed. So always inhale through the nose, and exhale can be through the mouth. One last time. And come back to the center. From here, couple movements forward and back. Be sure that you activate your fingertips, so they're not simply resting, they're quite active in this position. Forward and back, and now turn your fingers to the sides, and we do the same to the right and to the left. One side, then another. Now, bring the opposite side of the palm against the yoga mat, and be sure that you don't do simply the fingers, but the whole part of your palm. So we put our thumbs inside, close with the rest of the fingers, and we try to outstretch our elbows. So also here, a couple movements, stretching our hands. Inhale down, exhale, outstretch, and push away with the hands. Inhale one last time, exhale. Very well, put the palms down. Now push away with your hands, and we go into downward facing dog, keeping the distance between the feet a bit more than the distance of the hips. As always, if you're first or second even trimester, you can put your feet at the hip distance. But if the belly is bigger, elongate the distance between your feet. Knees, keep them bent and push away with the hands, trying to feel with your belly, your thighs. And if you can, bring your head on the same line with your arms, so that if you bring your head to the right and to the left, you can feel with your ears, your arms. And then we start trying to outstretch one leg, then another. If it's too hard at any moment, you can put your knees down like this, or even rest in this pose. Okay. From here, put your knees down. And we sit on our heels. For now, if the feet were very, very wide, bring them at the hip distance. And we stand on the knees. Be sure that the feet are at the hip distance over in the back. Tuck your toes under. Hands behind the back. Push with your hands. Outstretch your chest all the way forward. And we stay here breathing with our chest. So elongate the muscles all the way to the right and to the left. Inhale, and with the exhale, relax them. If the belly is very small, you can push away with your hands and go all the way back. Be sure not to feel too much tension in the frontal part of the body. If you feel fine, you can go back. Just in case, we remain here in the Ustrasana or the camel pose. One last inhale. With the exhale, bring your hands down. From here, we bring our right foot between our hands. So in any comfortable way, we do that. Left hand under your left shoulder. Be sure that the distance is quite big between your feet, so the belly can fit nicely, especially if it's big. With the next inhale, we do the twist, the close twist, and we bring our right hand all the way up, looking towards the sky. And we do a couple breaths. One last inhale. With the exhale, both hands down. You can stay here if you feel like it. Bring your weight forward and outstretch your toes all the way back. Uttan Parishthasana, or the lizard pose. Also here, be very, very gentle. Don't try to go into this split. If you are very stretchy, if you're very elastic, but please only if you really feel like going there and you know that you have a great elasticity. You can try to bring your forearms down, and if you can, put some block, bolster, or anything, or even thumb the fist on the fist, and put your forehead down. So only if you're on the forearms, try to have some base for your forehead. This way you can relax your back a bit better and relaxing your hips a bit better. Or just in case, hand on the hand, forehead all the way down. I understand for majority maybe it's not that easy, so you can stay a bit higher. Always be sure to feel your hips. If you need, you can do small movements up and down, to the right and to the left. From here, we bring our right foot all the way back, and we do the same with the left one. So the left foot goes forward, right palm under the shoulder, and the left hand goes up, and look all the way up. Parshvakonasana, still 2 breaths, long and deep. One last inhale, and with the exhale, both hands down. And as we did on another side, you can be higher. If it's too much, also like this, you can simply walk with your hands a bit closer to your hips, or a bit closer to your right leg, staying this way, or even shorten the distance, or even maybe staying like this. But usually during the pregnancy, our hips are loosening, the joints are very elastic, so even people who never were able to go into the split pose will be able. But please be very, very careful, because the hormone that we so much maybe hate during the pregnancy, that relaxes everything in our body, is very tricky. If you go too deep, if you go too much, you can hurt yourself. So know your limits without exaggeration. If you want, you can go lower in the lizard pose, or keep yourself a bit higher. Doesn't really matter now. Continue breathing. As always, what you have chosen, well, technically you can also change it during the practice. If you were breathing only through the nose, when you feel that it's too hard or you want to try, you can inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. Perfect. Now start going a bit higher, push the weight a bit back, and bring your left knee all the way back. From here we will do the Anahata Asana, so tuck your toes under. Be sure that the knees are under the hips, and we start walking with our hands forward. Try to lower yourself as much as you can. Don't worry about the belly, everything is fine. Even if you feel with your belly, your thighs. Bring your chin on the ground or the forehead. You can go as deep or as not deep as you want. If you don't feel too much stretch, you can bring your hands on the fingertips to feel a bit more the stretch in the back and the opening in your shoulders. The puppy pose on Hatha Asana, or you can also stay on your forearms just like that. 2 more breaths. Start exiting from the pose very slowly by shifting your weight forward. Put your palms on the ground once again, and we do couple cat-cow movements. With the inhale, arc your back just a bit. With the exhale, push away with your hands. And if you want, you can right now implement also the bending of the elbows. Be sure that they go back. Inhale, stretch up. Exhale, round your back. And 2 more times. And one last time. Come back to the center. From here, we push away with our hands. Go into the downward facing dog. Staying here for 3 breaths. If it's too much, you can keep your knees down on the ground. If you can, outstretch your legs. If not, also keep your knees bent. From here, put your knees back on the ground into the cat. Put yourself down, sitting, and then bring your legs all the way forward. So we will try the exercise, which is amazing for our hips, for our hip joints, to kind of like bring a lot of blood there, a lot of energy, so that it will be easier during the delivery stage as well. Okay, we will be walking on our buttocks. So you can help with your hands being to the right and to the left. You can put them in Namaste. You can put them in any way. You can also help yourself by bringing your arms back and forward. So we raise one hip and go forward, and another one. If it's too hard for the belly, you can bring your hands to the back and do this movement this way. So a lot of weight, quite some, is to the back, and you simply do these movements with your hips, you see? Like that, kind of like walking forward, and we do the same back. And belly big, or simply you feel like it, use your hands to help you. Otherwise, without, trying to raise one, then another. Be very gentle, because here we have the activation also of the abdominal muscles, and especially the lateral ones. So be very, very gentle and careful. If you already have any tension in your pelvic area, please put your hands back. And we continue with the same. So shift the weight and the hip back. Shift the weight and the hip back. Okay? Walking forward, back, and now we walk forward. Be very careful. Come back to the middle of the mat, so that your hips are in the middle, and we lay down. So also here, depending on the size of the belly, we lay down or straight if the belly is small, but always better to go on the left side, lay down, help yourself, and then we roll on the back. Perfect. We hug our knees. Be sure that you open the knees. Be sure not to close and not to push with your thighs against your belly, and we start rolling to the right and to the left. Continue this movement, and now we put our left foot down, raise our right one, and be sure that your right foot is facing perfectly towards the ceiling or towards the sky, and your knee is to the right. You can grab the down part of the knee or under the knee, or the shin or the foot, anywhere that you can. Please be sure not to squeeze the belly, not to push towards it. So be sure the foot faces up. Knee is constantly trying to go towards the right shoulder. And grab your leg in any comfortable way. And simply try to relax your hips. Let your knees simply fall down. If you're very flexible, you can try to take your foot and push down. Be sure that your left hip is not raising, so the left glute is on the ground. Just a bit more. It's always very nice to be mindful, so the practice with your eyes closed, it's really super beneficial. If you feel like it. Perfect. We change the side. So now the right foot is down. Bring the left one up. Be sure that the knee is bent and it's looking to the left a bit. So in the diagonal. And also here. Or I take my knee from under, or the shin, or my foot. Be sure that the right hip is down. The whole point is not to bring your knee down. If you can, fine. If not, perfectly fine. The main point is to release the tension from the hips, to loosen them just a bit. One last inhale. With the exhale, both feet down. Now we bring our feet more than the hip distance outside of the yoga mat. Hands to the sides, palms down, and we start with couple twists, bringing our knees to the left, to the right. If you feel like it, you can amplify the twist by looking in the opposite direction. So if the knees are to the right, look to the left, then come back to the center and repeat on another side. Just some movements on one side, on another. Very well, come back to the center. Put your feet more or less hip distance, a bit maybe more, and as close to your hips as you can. We will train a bit more our glutes, which is very, very nice. Don't forget about any part of the body during the pregnancy. So we try to keep our body fit as much as we can, which will be necessary not only after but also during the delivery stage, so that your delivery will go as smooth as possible. We raise our hips with the inhale. Don't worry, perfectly fine, perfectly healthy for the baby, and activate your glutes. Don't raise your hips too much. You should be able to have your shoulders, hips, and knees, if you can, on the same line. If the belly is very, very big, of course, you will be able to raise your hips just a bit. Don't worry, this is perfectly fine. And with exhale, down. 2 more times, inhale. And as always, you can close your eyes if you want. Exhale, down. And one last time, inhale. Hold 3 breaths. I know it can be quite tough, but this is so much needed. One last inhale. And with the exhale, lower your back down. Hug your knees. Couple movements to the left. As always, never push your thighs towards the belly. Always open your knees, open your legs, leaving a lot of space. You can grab your knees from up, on top. And now bring yourself on the left side of the body and very gently help yourself into the seated position in any comfortable way. From here, the right leg is outstretched, the left one is bent at the knee, and we open our left knee a bit more to the left so that the angle is, let's say, 110 degrees more or less. So with the left hand, we push against the left thigh like you want to twist and you want to turn towards your right leg a bit more, just like that. And the right hand is on the right thigh, pushing against your left thigh. Also here, be sure not to push towards the belly if you need the blanket under the hips. This, as always, will help you to have this nice fold. You can outstretch your elbow or keep it bent. The most important that you push with your left hand. Come back. For now, the left hand goes all the way back. The right one is on the thigh. This is the open twist. We stay like this for just a couple breaths, shoulders down. Try to remain with the straight back. As you were here, you go up with the same back, and now you do the twist with the same straight back. In the twist, we always try to breathe or with the belly, especially if it's closed one, but during the pregnancy it's much better. It's almost like 100% that you should do open twist in order not to close your belly, to have enough space for the baby. So it's better to breathe not only with the belly maybe, but also the full yogic breath, the belly, chest, clavicle region, and the exhale. Shoulders go down, chest back, and belly back. Come back to the center. Bring your left knee to the left. The leg is outstretched in front of you. With the inhale, we stretch all the way up. And try to have your back as straight as you can, shoulders down. next inhale, with the exhale, start lowering yourself with the straight back. So in order to make sure that your back is straight, you can place your arms near your ears, because when we go like this, it's quite hard to do it with the round back. So imagine that someone is pulling you with your hands all the way forward, and you lower yourself. When you feel that it's already too much, place your hands down. So now it's a tricky one, because belly small, you can go all the way forward in the Janushirshasana, or the knee, or the head on the knee pose. There's an airplane flying. If your belly is quite big, we turn a bit to the left, and we do the same by lowering ourselves, but between our legs. As always, I remind you that it's better to do it with the back completely straight. If it's still too hard, you can put the chair in front of you, hold the chair, and maybe put your hands on the chair like that, making couple breaths, and always try to feel like almost you want to arc your back. Not straight, but almost arcing. Staying like this, or like that, or down, or towards the foot. With the next inhale, we start first raising our head to make our back as straight as possible, to feel a bit more the stretching of the right leg, and then come back. From here, we bring our left foot on top of the knee. So also here, the blanket or no blanket, decide. Here it's very important to tuck your toes and to have your heel exactly on top of the knee, or maybe a bit to the right. So if it's already too hard, you feel like you need to go back, you can go back like this with your hands, or maybe even to bring your foot a bit forward. The best would be to have the angle of around 45 degrees in your knee. That's why shifting your weight back would be better than bringing the foot forward. So we stay like this. If it's very easy, you can push against your left thigh with your left hand by lowering it a bit down. Or if you want, if you're already very flexible, you can push away with your hands, bring your belly forward, place your hands forward, and here we relax completely, let the head fall down. Also here I recommend you that we are not facing our right leg, we are facing in somewhere between both of the legs. So here we create some space for the belly, and we go down. Go down till you feel that the belly is feeling nice, there is still space. When you feel that there is no more space, that you're pushing towards it, it means that you need to go a bit higher. And anyway, if you stop feeling any stretch in your hip, in your leg, it means that your back is very round. Try to bring your shoulders back and outstretch your back. This way I feel everything already, even though I'm quite high, I'm not like super low, not touching with my forehead the ground. But the feeling is the most important, more important than how the position looks like. With the next inhale, come back to the center. We repeat the same on another side. So the left leg is outstretched, bend your right knee and place your knee. I will turn so that I can see you. And place your knee a bit more to the right, opening. From here, with the right hand, we push against the right thigh. Left hand is on the left leg. And try to almost twist, like you want to pull out your leg, right one, from your body, opening the hip, and always relaxing your hips. The most important, continue breathing. If you're able to keep the constant breathing during the practice, this is much better than you were able to do all of the positions, but were missing your breath. With the next inhale, come back to the center. We will do the twist, so the right hand behind the back with a straight back, left hand on the thigh. If it's too much, left hand on the mat. Turn with your head. Couple breaths. With the next inhale, come back to the center, close a bit the knee, 90 degrees now. Okay, both hands up with the inhale. With the exhale, we start lowering ourselves just a bit. Staying this way. Who wants? Bringing hands down, belly small. Go all the way forward with the back as straight as I can, belly big. I turn a bit more to the right between my legs and go down. Once again, the foot, be very careful not to push against your belly. Better to bring shoulders back, elongate your back. Bring the chair, both hands on the chair if you want. Staying this way. Or all the way down. Perfect. With the next inhale, come back. Now we bring our right foot on top of the knee. And as always, be sure that there is no pain in the knees, the same as with our wrists, the most gentle parts. If you need, I remind you, you can place your hands back or one hand. With the right one, you can push against the thigh like that, opening our right hip. The fire log pose, one of the variations. Staying here if you feel very comfortable. Bring your hands forward. If you want, grab your foot. If you want, go all the way down, but be sure there is space for the belly. I know I say this so much today, but from my experience, women, when they're pregnant, sometimes they really forget that they have a belly, and they do all of the crazy things. So my aim is to remind you to be very cautious with your body during the practice, so that hopefully this habit passes also into your normal life. Always enough space. Agni Stambhasana. We do the last inhale and exhale. And with the next inhale, come back. Okay. We bring our legs in any comfortable position. If you are able, bring your knees together and feet apart. So it's Virasana or the warrior pose. If you feel too much pressure in your knees, put some blanket or couple pillows, couple blankets. You can also roll it much more. And place yourself on top. If this is too much, you can sit on your heels. This is the perfect position in order to close our hips, because today we worked a lot on opening, but really we need to close right now to have the balanced feeling, let's say, in the body. Okay. With the inhale, raise both hands, and with the exhale down, we do 3 full yogic breaths. So with the inhale, two ways you can do it. Or one hand on the belly, one hand on the chest. Or you can do it with both hands raising and lowering. You can do it first, for example, with your hands on your belly, and another 2 raising. So with the inhale, I turn towards you. With the inhale, start enlarging your belly. Then chest region, then shoulders go a bit up, and with the exhale, shoulders go down. You can close your eyes if you want. Chest goes back, and the belly is relaxing. Don't try to bring your belly back, but try to relax it exactly. So 2 more times, inhale, and try to make your inhales and exhales as slow as possible. When you do the exhale, let's do it with the mouth open. We will do one last time. Please have a look right now, open your eyes, on my mouth. So I'm not doing it because when our lips are very tense, our jaws are tense, and our pelvic area is tense, this is not what we want. We want to relax it. And now with the last one, try to imagine that you're exhaling through your hips, through your pelvis. So with the inhale, belly, chest, clavicle region, very, very slowly. through the nose, and with the exhale, open completely, relax your jaw. And imagine that the air is exiting all the way down. Very well. Now, take away the blanket and we lay down on our back. We prepare ourselves for the inverted position. If you have the wall near you, that would be even better. I have the tree, but it's quite far to show to you. I will show without a tree. Imagine that there is a wall in front of me. So the wall is in front of you. And by the way, if you are in the first trimester, you still can do this pose. If you are in the first trimester, don't do any candle pose or halasana when we bring our feet all the way back, or in general any strong inverted position. This is called Viparita Karani Mudra. It doesn't have any restrictions, so it can be done during the whole pregnancy and even after, like with the baby on your chest, like whenever you want. Second and third trimester, if you would like to do a different pose, for example, if you're practicing already for some time, if you want to do the headstand, by all means you can do that, but make sure that you know how it's done. Make sure that you practice it quite often. Better even if you're kind of like very experienced practitioner, yogi, to do these positions, like for example the arm stand or the headstand with the wall anyway, because every day your body changes, the weight changes, and depending how the baby is moving, you know, to the right, to the left, God knows where, you can be quite surprised by finding that the balances that you were doing before, which were very, very easy, became very hard. That's why, to make sure that everything is fine, do them near the wall. You don't have to lean with your feet towards the wall, but the wall should be simply there, just in case if the baby switches or you start feeling vertigo or anything else. We do the Viparita Karani. For that, we will need a blanket or pillow or bolster or block, anything that you have at home, but usually blanket or the pillow we all have. As always, through the left side, if the belly is big, whenever you want and wherever you want, we lay down, and better to do it near the wall. In order to do that, try to make to bring your hips as close to the wall as you can. The distance between the wall and your hips should be maximum the distance of your foot. So you should be or with your glutes completely towards the wall, or with your feet touching the wall if you bend your knees like that. From here, we raise our hips and place anything that we have prepared under our hips. Try to find the comfortable position for your pelvis, for your lower part of the back. If something is very narrow, be sure that it's quite stable, just in case you need maybe to hold it. We place our feet on the wall, like that. And we close our eyes. Imagine that there is a wall there. Of course, if you feel fine, you know, like you can do it without the wall. Better during the first trimester not to do that, because right now we are activating a bit our abdominal muscles, and during the first trimester you want to avoid any tension there. You want the baby to be nicely attached, so he or she can grow. It's much better to do it leaning on the wall, because you will be able really to relax much better. Without the wall, it's a bit harder. Couple breaths through the nose. Exhale through the mouth if you want. And here I would like you to focus on the feeling in your legs. You can maybe move your toes if you want. Maybe also move your feet. And then relax them. Technically, you can stay in this pose even up to 15 minutes. So if you feel very comfortable, you can continue with Viparita Karani Mudra. Just in case, for everyone else, we will go to Shavasana, but actually you can also make your Shavasana, if you're comfortable here, this way. So place your feet back, down, or if, it's very important, if there is no space and your hips are close to the wall, you simply push with your feet against the wall, take away the blanket, and then roll yourself on the left side of the body and help yourself into the seated position first, and we prepare for the Shavasana. So Shavasana is always very crucial pose because this will help you to feel your body to relax, and especially as we will be doing the guided version. So try to listen and hear what I'm saying, and exactly to bring your attention in this particular part. This will help you during the whole pregnancy to feel your body better, but also during the delivery when the doctors will be telling you, push here, activate here, you will be understanding which muscle or which part of the body actually you should strengthen or relax. So don't neglect Shavasana, just in case. Depending on the belly, on the size of the belly, even though I'm 7.5 months pregnant, my belly is quite small. So I can do it even laying down on the back, even though it becomes a bit uncomfortable. I will show you different ways you can do that. Technically, belly is small, you feel very nice even on your back simply outstretched. You can lay down in the normal Shavasana, feet apart, hands apart, close your eyes. Make sure you feel comfortable. Perfect. If you feel that there is some weird tension in your hips, don't look at me, don't stand like that. I'm simply doing all of the crazy positions usually. You can take the bolster, or you can take and roll the blanket and put it under the knees. Like that. Lower. This will help to release a bit the tension from your lumbar part of the back. Sometimes it's not enough the height, but sometimes it may work. Okay. It's uncomfortable, especially with the big belly. It is recommended also not to sleep on the back, even though I do that from time to time during the night. I feel that for me it's very comfortable. It's very personal. That's why try to find your Shavasana position. Just in case, if on the back, uncomfortable, we lay down on the side. We put our left hand under our ear and blanket or bolster between the knees, like that. Also, if the belly is bigger, maybe you will need something bigger between your knees. And simply laying like this. If your arm like that feels uncomfortable, do something different. Maybe put a pillow also down your head. Close your eyes. And we start by making couple breaths. So everyone chooses their own Shavasana position. Also here, if you want, you can open and beat your mouth. But it will be much harder to relax, because if your mouth keeps on being open, you will start inhaling through the mouth as well. This is not exactly what we want. In yoga, we always try to inhale through the nose. Almost always. There are some breathing techniques. Better, from my point of view, to keep your mouth closed, but the jaw completely relaxed, as always. If you need, you can take your jaw, move it a bit, relax it. Be sure that your teeth are not touching one another, so there is a bit of a distance, like a grain at least. And now bring your attention all the way to your feet. In whichever position you are, imagine, see them with your internal gaze. You can move the feet if you want, and relax them with exhale. Relax also your calf muscles, your knees, the thighs, and your hips. Move your attention to your back and start relaxing it from the lower part of the back all the way up towards the neck. Then bring your attention to your belly and relax it. Relax your chest and your shoulders. And now move your attention to your hands. You can move the fingers of the hands if you want. And relax them with exhale. Relax also your wrists, your forearms, your elbows, and your arms. And now bring your attention to your neck and relax it. Relaxing also your chin, your mouth, the nose, the cheeks, and the ears. Relax also your eyes and your eyebrows. Relax also your forehead and even the scalp of your head. All of the muscles of the body are completely relaxed. For a couple breaths. Now move your attention to your breath and feel for how the air is entering and exiting through the nostrils. The focus on your breath, even during couple moments that we're spending here, will help you a lot during your delivery, when the contractions and pain maybe at one point will be quite severe. Always focus on something else. The best is focusing on the breath. Where our attention goes, energy flows. If you focus on pain, if you focus on contraction, you amplify the feeling. If you focus on your breath, on the inhale and exhale, you lower all other feelings that you have in the body and lowering the pain as well. So start teaching your body and your mind to focus on your breath. It's always with you. The birds singing maybe not always, but your breath always. So couple breaths. If you feel like staying in Shavasana for a bit longer, you can do that. You don't have to wake up. You can relax there for just a bit longer. For the one who would like to start going or are busy maybe, or simply feel that they're relaxed already, start breathing a bit deeper. Start moving your fingers and your toes. And then bring your arms over the head if you're laying down on the back. And stretch if you're laying on the sides. You can simply stretch one arm and then maybe another, or simply stay like this the way you were. And then if you were laying down on your back, bring yourself on the left side of the body with your knees bent, your arm maybe under your head. And if you're ready, help yourself into the seated position with your legs crossed if you can, back straight. And as always, the pillow or blanket under your hips. Relax the belly, the forehead, relax your eyes. And simply try to take a couple breaths, tuning towards the experience, towards the feelings. Feeling the changes in your body and in your mind after the practice. Don't forget to relax your jaw. Mouth open or closed, the way you prefer. And with the next inhale, we raise our arms over the head, unite the palms, and bring our hands in Namaste in front of the chest. In order to conclude our practice, we chant mantra Om 3 times mentally or out loud. Inhale. Bring your hand just slightly down. If you don't have a big belly, you can incline yourself a bit forward. And then you can open your eyes. I thank you so much for this pregnant yoga, prenatal yoga. Don't forget that you can do this practice anytime you want. I don't recommend you doing it every day because it's quite long and we need our body to relax a bit more, even though it was quite relaxing, I believe. 2-3 times per week will be amazing. If you have only time for once per week, it will be great. Don't think that if I don't do it 3 times per week, it's useless. No, even once per month or once in a while, like anything that you do for your body to feel better, to tune towards the body, to tune towards the breath, to work with the energy. Everything in the whole picture, makes huge sense and makes the huge difference. So please don't stop practicing, don't stop moving yourself, because reading a lot of studies, talking with a lot of specialists, every time I hear the same thing, that all of the problems during the pregnancy, they come from a lack of movement. So please, my beautiful ladies, my beautiful pregnant ladies, move. Move the way you feel like, when you feel like. When you feel tired, take a rest. But when you feel like you would like to move, or when you have energy, please do it, because your body will only tell you thank you. So once again, I thank you so much for practicing with me, with us. And I will see you in the other videos. Namaste.